What if I told you most people don't have a thinking problem? They have an energy problem. Let's get into it. Every single day, we get thoughts right from the beginning of the day. Some are empowering, some are destructive, some are fear described as logic. But here's the part that most people miss. A thought by itself is not powerful, negative, or positive. It's when you give it energy that it begins to grow. Think about it. You wake up in the morning, a thought shows up. Thoughts always show up. Man, some of the thoughts they show up, they're like, what if today's goes wrong? Or what if I fail? Or man, I gotta do this thing I did wrong again today. I gotta still go through this. I don't know if it's gonna work out. But at that moment, it's just a thought. And then what do? We start to focus on it. You start to spoon feed it little by little, and you start to add to it and play it in a scenario. And that will lead to emotion. And then something interesting happens. That thought starts to merge with some energy. And the more attention you give it, the more energy it starts to build until it feels real in your life. And the more real it feels, the more energy it has, the more momentum it has, the more likely you're going to speak about it. And words do matter completely. And now these simple thoughts have been given a voice. And once it's been given a voice, you start to talk about it with friends, family. You start repeating it over and over again. And it was just a simple thought that you now are rehearsing, you're practicing it all over the place. And all of a sudden you start moving towards that reality. It's starting to become almost like that thing they call the law of attraction. But evidence does start showing up. And once the evidence starts showing up, it's going to eventually lead to your taking action. And if you take action on it, now that's intention. That's unintentional intention. And now we're trying to wonder how it's starting to show up in our life. What is this? This is not what I asked for. I asked the universe or God, whatever the power that you lean towards when you're asking. And you start to feel judged. You start to feel like it's unfair. Why does this happen to me? And it's all because unintentionally you gave energy to a thought. Something we should have been taught many years ago on how to control our thoughts. First thing in the morning. The thought gained momentum, got some energy, is now focusing on this specific thing. You're speaking it, you're complaining about it, you're reinforcing it. And eventually, unconsciously, you're going to start to look for it and see it. What's that old saying? Seek and you shall find. So what do? How do we change this? Well, we start changing it so that it can become a purposeful thing. We start to flip the script intentionally. What if you did wake up in the morning and you stopped any kind of thought and you just started saying, what if today works out for me? What if everything goes right for me? What if I do what Coach Lex talks about in his Instagram? So maybe you now say, I'm stronger than before. I do see clearer. I can pick my thoughts I give energy to. We can change this. We've always come out on top. And anything we lost, we learned from. Unless your thoughts continue to do the process we just spoke about. And with this, you can flip the script for yourself. And you definitely can flip that today. Maybe you could start to notice, instead of letting any kind of thought just in, maybe you start to notice what you've been improving on, because everything improves. Just like anything could get worse, anything could get better. And now we're feeding a new possibility. Hopefully you start to notice that things get better and better for yourself. And if you do that long enough, you'll start feeling different. And that's the key. So your thoughts influence your words influence your intentions influence your actions influence your results, which influence your feelings. That's a loop though. It's a loop, if you really think about it, a powerful loop being directed by you on purpose. So before you start your day and follow just any thought, pause for a moment. Is this going to be constructive? Is it going to help me create a life I'm trying to escape or I'm trying to build? Ask yourself that question, because not every thought deserves your energy. Almost all thoughts deserve to be either ignored, challenged, or replaced. The quality of life that you're repeatedly seeking is usually connected to the quality of thoughts that you're having, that you constantly energize. So choose carefully. Choose thoughts that support your intentions. Ask, is that thought creating life or taking from me? And that question right there, and that pause right there, will change your direction for sure. So choose the thoughts that direct you in the right path, towards the right things that you want. Talk about results. And just like your bad thoughts, you can change to good thoughts. You can start to pick the best thoughts, and you can pick them all today.